I did. I ruined football. The drill would stop. Get him off. And you'd be like, is he talking to me?
If the line was there, you were probably a little bit either side of it sometimes.
Yeah, I was trying to. Sometimes I fucking went missing and had to sort of come back to it. It was awesome for me. Give me the biggest sprays I've ever been given in my life. One of the boys shit off the balcony thinking it was one of our balconies underneath, but it was not. And if you're trying to please people that hate you, well, you're doing it for wrong reasons.
Rightio, welcome to BackChat, powered by Paywise in season 2025. I'm very, very happy to have this man in front of me. Premiership player, right, best and fairest winner, Anzac Day medalist. He's done it all. Brownlow winner, Dane Swan.
There you go, mate.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's nice to be over in WA for a few days.
In Perth.
Thaw out a bit.
What are you doing here?
I'm still not sure, mate. I'm still not sure. No, I came over to give back, mate. Give back to the good Collingwood folk that are over here. Someone's got to do it, so... it's me.
There's a lot of you, mate. There's a lot of
a lot of me to give round.
Very happy to give me feedback on a regular basis.
Yeah, no, they're very good, the Pies, man. Yeah, the Pies supporters are very good. Yep.
Mate, we asked the same question to everyone who's ever sat in that chair.
Yeah.
I was just speaking to you. We just had Jack Della Maddalena, world champion. Asked him the question. Ask everyone the question. Thanks to TABtouch. Our good friends at TABtouch. I know you've got some betting agencies.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It's your podcast, mate. You do what you want to do.
Greatest sporting achievement. Not on the footy field. Right, I just listed all your... I know you're a good footy player.
No.
Right, I played against you. I reckon you kicked about 10 goals on me one day. You're an absolute champion. Want to know off the footy field what you can do. So I was a beach flag state champion under nines. Yeah. What do you got for me off the footy field?
Mate, I can do absolutely fuck all off the field, mate. That's what I can do. Yeah.
Come on, you must...
Finishing second in Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. There you go. That's probably my highlight of my life. But
who won?
Casey Donovan. I think she's the first
Australian Idol.
Yeah, first person to win 2 Australian reality shows, I think. Yeah, good on her. Yep. What am I good at? What's my greatest? No, don't play golf. It was when I was playing footy, especially in Melbourne, like more days off. I kind of needed what I did to myself on the weekends. I was like, I need a day of sleep here. So like, I don't know why people get up at 6 in the morning and play golf on the days off. It's got me beat, especially in Melbourne, but not a golfer.
Basketball?
I played basketball as a kid. I was probably my second best. Yeah, I was probably my best sport as a kid. Then all of a sudden I realised I was 6'8", couldn't jump over a house and couldn't shoot and wasn't a great dribbler. So I was like, well, I better give this the arse. What am I good at? Not much, mate. To be honest, your kids, is that an achievement?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, that's a cop out. That's an easy one.
How many kids you got?
3 that I'm aware of.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, 3 that I care about. What else am I good at? To be the greatest things that happened to me off my career sort of footy is the relationships I've made through AFL. Like, I don't care that I'm a premiership player. I don't wake up every day, geez, I'm a premiership player. Geez, how lucky I might have a Brownlow and wear it around my neck. But what I am proud of is like they've probably 5 or 6 best mates I've made from footy. That's probably it. I'll see them till the day we die. Footy and Brownlows that no one talks about unless they get asked. I'm doing shit like this.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate it.
But no other skills. Like thank goodness I played AFL.
I love
because I've got no other skills. My missus does all work around the house, all legit. If the light needs to be fixed, that or gets out the wrench and the screwdrivers, does all that shit.
I saw you speak about when you entered into the AFL Hall of Fame, and you spoke about pretty much what you just said. That's great, and you're obviously very proud. But you had a massive crew of family and friends with you. Yeah. More important.
So that's more important. I think I got the record for the most people taken there. So didn't get into Collingwood, so I might as well settle all the AFL. So that's the thing that I care about most. No matter whether I was digging ditches or playing AFL, like they're the people that I love and support and want to be around. So, and they treat, as you would know, all your friends and family, they don't care that you played AFL or that you're interviewing UFC world champions, mate.
Or Dane Swan.
Yeah, well, now they probably care. Now they probably like you a bit more interviewing me, of course. But, so that's what I hold on to most. That's what I cherish most, being around people I care about.
What was your upbringing like growing up, mate? I know your old man played a lot of games.
Yeah.
Played 300 games in the VFA.
Yeah, he's had the league record for 30-odd years there.
So was it footy-based?
No, yes and no. I guess people our age, we played after school. We had to go out and entertain ourselves. There was no internet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We couldn't talk to each other on our phones or play online gaming. So we had to go out and play footy, basketball and cricket and, chasing or whatever it is until we got called in for dinner. So footy wasn't a huge dream of mine. It wasn't something that I aspired to play. Like I played it because we had nothing else to do and I loved being around my mates and had a kick, but it wasn't something when I was 10 I was like, I'm playing AFL. I was just like, I'm playing it because everyone else does it. It's a bit of fun. But upbringing was fine, middle class, just normal. Got into the odd bit of trouble like every kid. Like had a bit of fun. Just nothing exciting. Just went on a holiday every year. Like we're just normal middle class family.
Yeah, it's good. And then look what you turned into.
Mate. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You are, mate. You're a very modest man. I've got to tell. Your rap sheet's about as good as anyone's. But I mean, footy rap sheet.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, yeah, both of them. Yeah.
You got picked up 58 in the 2001 draft.
Yeah.
Were you over age then? Or was you
no, I was 17. I was 17. I got drafted as a 17-year-old, on the back of, I think the recruiters thought it was going to be a weak draft.
I've heard you speak about it before in terms of getting onto a list and you weren't ready mentally, physically.
Yeah.
Was that because you were young or was it because of your attitude? Or
I think it was a combination of everything. Like I lived at home, played at West Meadows and the Calder Cannons. And as you're aware, footy's a lot different. Like now they get mentored from the age of 15, which is crazy. Like from managers are talking to me, it's like 12, 13, they're doing weights and eating properly. Like fucking hell, relax, have some McDonald's after a game. Like time to be a kid because you got plenty of time to take it seriously and not enjoy it once you get to our level.
Yeah.
So it was. I was probably too young, moved straight out of home. My first contract was 36,000, spent it was like 36 million. I've never had a job, never had money in my pocket. I was like, this is fucking brilliant. And I was too immature, was too young. Body wasn't ready. I wasn't mentally or physically ready for AFL level. But listen, I got some unbelievable memories from my first couple of years on the list, but none of them got anything to do with football. I moved straight out of home, was going out 5 nights a week, playing in the reserve. My first game on an AFL list. So Williamstown were Collingwood's reserves. I started in Williamstown's reserves and I started on the bench because I was late to the game. So things were going well. So I was flying.
Why were you late? Why were you late for the game?
I'd been out and I'd had a look the night before, but it was in Geelong. I didn't know where Geelong was. I was I don't even think I had GPS. I had to look at the Melways. I wasn't great on the Melways. So we get there and it wasn't even at Cardinia, whatever they call it. So it was on the oval next to it. So
that's a shithole. I'm from Geelong.
Okay.
It's a shithole.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not Geelong. Geelong, I love Geelong.
Okay.
But that oval.
Yeah, that oval.
May as well be the car park.
Yeah, exactly. People picking up dog shit before the game and stuff like that. So that's where I cut my teeth, mate. So it was beautiful. Yeah, I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing on an AFL list? So things didn't get much better for a couple of years, but that's what it was. And you get sacked immediately now after obviously what footy is. But thankfully I got in just when you could sort of have a bit of time to find yourself.
Who did you get drafted with?
From Collingwood, Richie Cole was the first, Tommy Davidson, me, Tristan Walker.
Is that the original Rat Pack? I know a lot of people like to talk about Rat Pack, but I feel like the boys you get drafted with.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They were playing. Richie Cole was playing a bit of senior footy early, so me and Tommy Davidson had a bit of fun together. Yeah, Big Tex was from WA. He was a bit quieter. Thank goodness he didn't look to take after us, but me and Tommy had a bit of fun out of first. He's from Geelong, so we had a bit of fun the first couple of years, and then I guess Tazza and Benny Johnson have sort of seen me out and about a couple of times. And I was like, fuck, what's he doing? And wasn't cool enough to talk to them yet. Wasn't senior enough, how it was. I was speaking to you, spoken to when we first get picked up, but now it's a hell of a lot different. But sort of just wore them down. Yeah, and eventually, probably after 12, 18 months, we became pretty tight, and they were playing on the MCG, and I had to track down to Willie on a Sunday or something and play. So I want to get there, but eventually I got there.
You got arrested pretty early on.
Yeah, so that was a turning. Well, I want to say it was a turn. Listen, it's not for everyone, and to all your millions of listeners, I wouldn't recommend being arrested. But if you are, it can be a turning point in your life. So that was sort of I don't want to say I was put on the right path. I'd say I was put on the righter path than what I was on. And I got arrested the last day of pre-season training before Christmas. Now, as you'll be aware, when we first started, it was basically a Mad Monday. Like you train from 7 or 10 in the morning, out in the ground, you get absolutely flogged, no hydration. Then, all right, boys, half an hour you're on the bus, and bang, straight to the pub. Then it was basically a Mad Monday. So I fucking loved it. And then obviously got into a blue that night with me mate, my cousin, and then got arrested and got told I was going to be sacked. And I had like 24 hours or 48 hours to stew on it, and a bit like what we said earlier at the start, like I was like, well, this is fucked. I've got no other skills. What am I going to do now? Wasn't real keen on furthering my studies. Well, it wasn't something I was real keen on going back to school. She asked me hands, like I previously just mentioned, and my dad just finished a few years ago on the wharf. So I was probably going down to the wharf doing shift work, which didn't really excite me. So I was like, well, I'll fuck this up. And then just got to the footy club, and me, my old man, and my manager, Liam Pickering, was sitting there, and all the heavy hitters of the footy club were there, and they sort of went through. They all had their little speech on me, and wasn't too many positive connotations coming back my way. I was like, fuck, I am an asshole. Jesus, what's going on here? And then just got to Mick, and he sort of said, we're not going to ruin your career on one stuff up. So prove to me that you belong here. Now, I'd given no one any indication I'd be good at anything, let alone football. So God knows what he's seen in me. He wasn't there early enough to watch me in the Willie too. So I don't know what it was. Maybe he liked a bit of the lad or same socioeconomic background. Who knows? But he took a risk. And, listen, this was the end of 02, start of 03 season. So it wasn't like I played 3 games that year. So it wasn't like all of a sudden the door having a bang away I went. And so I didn't really get going until sort of 06, 07 when I started to play every week. So that was another 3 years down the track. So God knows why. And, we were in the grand finals 02, 03, and then we bottomed out. And as you know, when the AFL clubs bottom out, they play kids and get rid of the old blokes to see what you've got. Now I got 40 or 50 games I didn't deserve, but slowly managed to figure it out. And in that time, I'd had countless guys who came in better than me, certainly harder workers, more talented, stronger, more skilled, all the above. And I was like, fuck, damn, he's pick 8. He's a midfield. He's going to take my. I was playing half back at that stage. He's going to take my spot. Shit. And then they'd play 2 years and get the arse. And I'm like, why am I still here? I've got no idea. But I did, and it slowly started to turn, and thankfully snuck out a career.
I think you're underselling yourself, because knowing Mick and speaking to lots of players that played under him and players over here, West Coast early days as well, it sounds like the guys that he really loves and respects. Like, he doesn't do it for no reason. And he's not a hard ass. Maybe he is. No, but he he's not like, I'll just give Dane a go.
Yeah. Well, he was really hard on me, and we'd come in a meeting, and we'd sit in a meeting, and like, I was just starting out playing off half back or whatever, and wasn't a great defender, but try and get forward or play off in the middle and get caught ball watching, or we'd just shit. And then like we'd have the clip, we'd win or whatever, and there'd be 6 clips of me, and I'd be like all negative, and like he'd be like sitting there going, mate, Swanny, I don't know why anyone wants to play with you. Like, you're killing your teammates. Like, and he just hammered me for about 10 minutes. I was like, fuck you. Like, and I'd look around and I'd be like, there's this kid who's, he's hopeless. So I might have done some bad defense, but I've still had 25, or like I've kicked a goal, or I've actually had an impact either offensively, or I've done something. Why am I getting picked on? This is bullshit. And I'll be like, this kid, he's done nothing. He's had 4 touches and he's played all day and off a wing or something. Well, why is he not getting yelled at? And then like, it happened a couple of times, and I was like, nearly ready to just like shit attitude. I was like, I'm going to tell him to get fucked. Like, this is bullshit. And like, obviously I was close with Jono and stuff, and they see me like walking out of me like half upset, and he'd be like, mate, I'll never forget it. He's like, mate, you know why he's yelling at you? And then he goes, because he cares and he knows that you can be good. And that was sort of when the penny dropped. He goes, those blokes, they'll be gone at the end of the year. You watch. He goes, you don't give a fuck about them, so they're going to be gone. That's why he's not showing any care in him. Because he knows that you can be something, you can be good, so he's hard on you. So, and that's sort of when the penny dropped, when I was like, getting away from like, you can stick this up your ass. Like, mate, you keep yelling at me, I'm going, I won't play then. To righto, okay, well, I'll show you that I can be good. And that's sort of, and like I said, it was a slow burn, but that was sort of when the penny dropped, that like, all right, Mick actually thinks that I can be something.
Yeah, so was it when you say penny drop, was it, training standards? Like, it sounds like you still enjoyed yourself off.
Yeah, I'm not sure my training standards were ever great, but it was more the...
It actually changed.
Yeah, it was more sort of my attitude towards him, like, righto, I'm going to actually put effort in. Like, my training standards weren't great, and I wasn't a great trainer out in the track, but what I thought once I got sort of good enough to have some leeway, and like I could have a conversation with the fitness staff, say, mate, listen, I don't need this. What I thought I needed was the ability, my running stuff. So yeah, I fumbled like everyone else, but I was like, when it's 4 degrees in Melbourne, rain coming in sideways, I don't understand why I need to go out and do lane work. I said, I can take a mark on a wing and handball to someone running past me. I'm not an idiot. I know how to basics of football work. So what I felt I needed was to run in the altitude room, like heat room, do like 45 minutes in there, do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 meter sprints, minute on, minute off, for like on like, you know, between 20 and 23k an hour on the treadie. So that's what I felt I needed to do, and that was like, yep, bang, I've got the legs in me, because if I couldn't outrun the bloke I was getting tagged on, wouldn't matter if I couldn't kick it or not, because I couldn't get it. So that's what I felt I needed. So that was probably where my training standards improved. Not so much on the field, and I didn't look after myself great on weekends. So by the time I'd thaw out, I'd run around with my hands in my jacket, and I'd just chest the ball, and it'd go down, then I'd kick it off the ground. Or I'd just kick it off the ground just because I was like, I do not want to be out here. Let me go inside, because I'm going to fuck everything up. And Mick was early on, like, because I was ordinary, I wasn't a great kick and stuff like that. Like when we were at Vic Park, before we went to Olympic Park, whatever it's called, like he would literally, like, if you missed a couple of kicks during pre-season, like, get him off. And you'd be like, yeah, righto. And stop, the drill would stop, get him off. And you'd be like, is he talking to me? And like, get him off, fuck him off. And you.
So where would you go?
Well,
sit on the sidelines and watch.
You'd kick, gotcha or something, like one of his assistant coaches, you'd have 5 kicks, 10 kicks on and then you go inside. Like, he'd be like,
you're done.
Completely done. Like, see you later. Like, I trained for, no wonder I wasn't getting a kick. In pre-season, I trained for 8 minutes, and then I'd be done. And so I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. In the end, if I'd had enough, I'd be like, I was going to shank a couple, and off you go. So he was pretty brutal. But
it's funny how you remember that stuff. Huh?
Yeah.
You just brought back a memory. Like Dom Sheed one day, mate. Like, he just, Simo, just literally in the middle of training, stop training. Sheed would try to pull some kick through the middle of the ground. Yeah. Like, yeah, left foot, good kick at goal, sometimes Sheed, but around the ground he was just shit kick.
Yeah.
Pull this kick through the middle of training. Simo, stop training. Sheeda, that's not you. Get off. And Sheeda, same as you, like, look around like, what do you mean, get off? Like, get off. Get in the rooms. You're done. Send him off in the middle of training. And it set the standard. Like, you got to remember it. It's like, set the standard. Hey, am I making this up to think that sort of around this period where you're talking about, when you're sort of, you know, figuring it out, I suppose, is this about the time that Mick started, like, revolutionising the way the bench was used? Like, were you like one of the, not pioneers, but like, I feel like...
No, I ruined football. Yeah, I basically... I ruined football.
On or off, how?
So this is once I got senior, so this is sort of 08. Mick...
Once you got good.
Yeah, once I got good enough. Yeah, once I got good. So Mick obviously loved these sports, and went and watched the ice hockey in the US, and the ice hockey is a 60-minute game, 3 periods, and the best place to stay on for a third of the game. They play about 21, 22 minutes. So he went on and saw all the... Well, they're incredible athletes at hockey, considering they're on skates, but like the speed and power they run at, or they skate at, Mick came back and thought that'd be good for us. Now, I was never... Like, I was okay at Rover, but I was never in the top, 5 or 10, or maybe just outside the top 10 for our 2K or something like that. But what my strength was my ability to, to combat lactate and like the short, sharp stuff and the
burst. Yeah,
it's all that kind of 1, 2, 3s, all that with a little break I could recover well and go again. So that was what my strength was. So I guess I was probably our best mid. The Pendles was just coming on, so I was probably our best mid at that stage. So he came to us early in the pre-season and said, mate, I've got decided to keep you running, because I wasn't a Robert Harvey or a Nathan Buckley who could just burn people, and by the end of the game, the bloke they're playing on is exhausted because they've run 20 Ks. That wasn't me. I'd be more exhausted than the bloke I was playing on, so that was just defeat the purpose. So he came to us and go, I think, rotate a couple of times, on for 6-7 minutes, then come off, then go again. I was like, fuck that. Like, I'm trying to win best and fairest. I want to be All-Australian. Like, you got Brownlows and things to think of. Like, I'm not coming off the ground. Like, I want to have 30 every week. If I come off the ground, I'm going to have 24. That's not happening, Mick. No thanks. So but then you start to process and you start to live it, and you're like, you know what, I'm actually feeling a lot better in the back half. So instead of having 20 in the first half and 10 in the second half, you're having 15 and 15. You're a lot better in the back half of the game. And then the tag is like, does he come on and off with me? And they're usually great aerobic runners, so they don't have the speed or power usually to go with you in the back half of the game. Then if they stay on the ground, you come off, then they might be coming off, then you come on. So you might get 2 minutes of getting some, so fuck, I'm on my own, I'm going to get a couple of cheap ones just to get me confidence up. So, yeah, it started to turn, it started to work, and we're all fresh, and 6, 7, 8 blokes would rotate through there instead of having your 3 blokes who 4 just plot around all day. We'd 6, 7, 8 blokes would go in, and eventually we'd wear teams down because we had so many fresh legs go through there. So it really started to work. I was the most rotated man in the league for 3 years.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd come off maybe 12 times a game, 11 times a game. And then it was really working for us. Obviously, we won a flag on it. And then the AFL decided that it was a bad look for people running on and off the ground, which has me fucked.
So they put caps on it.
Yeah, so they capped it. Was basically because of,
you
me.
Personally.
Yeah, so I ruined football. So I apologise to everyone out there that hated that period. Yeah, that was me and the footy club. So that was it. And so I was rotated 12 times a game. So I'd go on 5-6 minutes, come off, 7 minutes, bang, come off again. And then I'd start on the bench sometimes to see what the tag would do. So, in the end, I sort of liked it because I'd get a break and you'd be running not as hard, but reasonably hard at the end of the game than you were at the start.
You mentioned some names there, like Pendles, like you saw him early in his career.
Yeah.
Are you looking at him at that time, not now, but going, he's going to play the most games in the history of the game?
I don't think anyone. Maybe Nick Dacos, maybe, but like not many people come in with that kind of hype. Like Nick has, Harley Reid's probably coming with an enormous amount of hype. Judd, but they're the only three I can really remember that have come in with like they're going to be special players. Not even Ablett, come in like that. So
Nick Nat was one.
Okay,
did it with me. You just look at him and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
he's sitting on heads.
Yeah, his body let him down, unfortunately. Though.
Yeah,
good point. But Pendles, he came in and just you knew he was going to be good, but to play 450 games, be 6-time All-Australian, 5-time BNF, probably be a legend in the AFL at some stage. Like, so short answer is no, but there's no surprise why he is what he is, like, because of he's got to have some dirty dark secret. I'm sure of it. I don't know what it is, but he has to do something horribly bad. He's got to be like a Dexter or something like that. You know what I mean? He has to do something fucking really bad because, like, he is just completely clean, which really sucks. Which is really fucking horrible. So he's got to be like a Dexter and like commit murders, or so he's got to do something in his off time because he is too perfect, unfortunately. But you get like he gets out what he puts in. Like he's always been like that from the day dot. Thankfully, he didn't try and follow someone like me. I think he said early on he tried to follow like Luke Ball or something. He's obviously unbelievable professional as well. And why Scott is still going, I think, is because if you played like me on like speed and power and agility, once you lose that top level speed, if your body can't get to where your brain expects it when you're a big power athlete, especially at the top level, you look horrible. Well, Scott's never had any leg speed. So
Scott's where he is because he's slow.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I can't believe people haven't figured him out yet. Like, he stands still and just does this. People jump around him. So he's played 30 years. Like, he doesn't move. He just does this, and people just fucking jump all around him. Like, he's incredible. Must be because he's a basketballer, maybe. Yeah, he's a basketballer. But I think Scott is probably the most consistently elite player that's ever played the game. His absolute best is probably not like Ablett and Judd, where they were just phenomenal, like could rip a game apart in 15 minutes. But Scott, he's consistently elite. He's been an elite player for so long, and the gap between his best and worst is very, very small. Like, he's played, say, 430 games, whatever it is. He's probably played 20 where you've gone, no, you're shit today. Like, which is a phenomenal effort at the top level, considering he's played from 18 or whatever it is. So he'll break the record, no doubt. If the Pies are on the bottom, they might be different, but they're on top, and him and Steele look like they're going maybe not just as good as ever, but as good as anyone in that side. Right. So
best seasons ever, which is
Steele will be all Australian probably if the game stopped right now.
He's
so
a huge year.
It's phenomenal for a guy who's 35 or something like that, and he's another one. He was a bit more in between me and probably Scott. He enjoyed himself and loved a beer and like very, very entertaining man, but was just an unbelievable runner. He trained twice in the offseason to come out and win the 2K. So some people were just blessed, which made me sick. But
still naked in some back alley during COVID tells me that he likes to have a beer.
Yeah, no, he's good fun. Yeah, looking for the toilet, unfortunately. Yeah.
Could you
Wellesley had an outhouse.
Put this down a little bit.
Wellesley had an outhouse, apparently. the only man in Melbourne that's got an outhouse.
Anyone who likes to have a beer read that story and goes, yeah, no worries, mate. I know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Right, so if we're speaking about that, so I look at this and I don't know you, we're not best mates or anything, but I know, lots of guys who do. I hear this Rat Pack, right, rolled out. This is an external word, isn't it? I mean, weren't you guys just a bunch of mates this Rat Pack?
Well, the Herald Sun coined it.
Right.
Yeah.
So who was in the Rat Pack? And I'll do that in inverted commas.
Yeah.
What?
Sharrod actually started it.
I was going to say, I feel like Sharrod, my good mate, was in there.
Sharrod, I'd say Sharrod was more like a rat, more like Stuart Little. He was on the periphery. But he after he got done drink driving, I think he was driving Buddy's car because Buddy must have told him to move it up the road. So he got done drink driving down Serena or something like that. That was say on the weekend. The Monday or the Tuesday when it broke, that's when the Herald Sun coined the Rat Pack. Had like Collingwood's Rat Pack and had photos of rats and our heads superimposed on the rats.
You're kidding.
No, that's how it started.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's how. It wasn't like we were like we're going to be the Rat Pack.
Correct.
No.
I know that.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it started.
That's how it started. Yeah, and it just stuck. Like, I'm sure every footy club has the group like that. Now, maybe we're such a big club and they coined it on the Herald Sun, but we're seeing it as a term of endearment. Like, we loved it, and I guess the other thing, like, we weren't just clogging up the list by that stage. There was some pretty good players on it, and why it stuck, maybe, I guess, blue-collar kids from the suburbs who enjoyed having a beer with everyone and didn't, nor do we see ourselves better than anyone else. We were just normal kids that just happened to be playing on the MCG. We're doing the same shit as all our mates, and we just happen to be going on the MCG on a Saturday instead of going to Preston or, going to, West Meadows, wherever it was. So, probably maybe a bit relatable. Like, we're just, like, how's he playing AFL? Like, he gets called fat, he's overweight, he runs runs like a duck. He's not super athletic, but, he's one of us. So it stuck, and in the end, when the game needed to be won, did to do something big. So Rap had Heath, Shaw, Ben Johnson, Alan Doddock, Chris Tarrant, probably myself, probably the main. And then we had guys on the periphery, but they probably didn't stay long enough to be able to get there. You needed to be in some kind of trouble off the field. You need to have a little bit of consistency with your footy too. So it was a pretty strict checklist to get in there. So
as dumb as that sounds, mate, like it is. I'm sure there's people listening that kind of just think, "Oh, Rat Pack, they love being party." I've been on a list, not Collingwood's, but West Coast. We had a Rat Pack,
exactly,
absolutely, and it wasn't called the Rat Pack. I think, and people don't listen to me, and people don't want to hear it, but you will know this, that group of players. Right?
Helps you win.
That helps you win.
Yeah, absolutely does.
And when that is lost, your team has gone to shit.
Yeah, of course.
And if that team removes that group, which you guys experience.
Yeah, well, that's what Bucks did. And then, when pear-shaped.
And so you need to find the right balance, clearly.
Of
you
course.
can't have the entire side, the Rat Pack, right? It's not the Collingwood Rat Pack.
And the footy club, Nick and Maxie and that were pretty good. He was like, mate, I understand why you usually just don't try and corrupt the young kids. Now, every now and then we may have. But, it wasn't by choice. We'd see him at a pub, see him at the bar or something, and I go, righto, you're with us for the night. But, that's, you do, because if you had all Scott Pendlebury's, as wonderful, well, if you had 22 of them, you'd probably win a lot of footy. But, if you had all, Australia 1As, it's not a good combination. You needed blokes who are a bit left to centre and have a bit of fun. And, because they're sort of probably bigger influences on the club. Now, it's just whether you're a negative one or a positive one. But people follow that sort of guy and, look up to him for all different reasons. So you do need all types, because when the game's tight, you've got the blokes who've got a bit of edge that'll go in and do something maybe not stupid, or will go in and fly the flag or take a big grab or do something big, and the crowd get behind it. And the crowd, the supporters, love sort of I hate using the term bad boy because we're not, but the guys who are
it's a mentality. So there's guys that tick every box, and I play with guys like that. Matt Priddis comes to mind, mate. Most professional bloke I've ever met, and he's continued it after football. Never let
stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Well, correct. But never let would never go into a game and he hadn't ticked every box, and that's why he wins a Brownlow, right? And that's him. But I feel like I'm throwing blokes on the bus, but my best mates, right? Chris Maston, my best mate, right? When you're telling a story about being arrested, he was like that when he was 16, and he used it as a learning. And I coach with him now. He's one of the great men of all time, because he's learned every lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have everyone Matt Priddis. You can't have everyone Chris Maston. You can't have everyone Will Schofield, Dane Swan.
Exactly, yeah.
But the mixture is what actually gets it done.
And that's what being a coach is ultimately, I think, because you have a million assistants that do all the X's and O's, and the coaches, how do you sort of put all the ingredients, all the players, all the different walks of life into a pot and make it come out of a nice recipe, I guess, because like you said, if you have too many of the blokes who are going to fuck up, well, the club's going to lean that way. And so you need a good balance, and you can see the footy clubs that have it, because the connections are really in vogue word, and everyone uses it these days. But the blokes who aren't afraid to go out and have a beer with each other, because the clubs that hide it are the ones that are no good. Like, you got 4 blokes in the corner, like a leader will come in, what are you doing? No, nothing. Like, you sit there and you're trying to not to let them know that you've been out. The footy clubs that embrace it, to a certain extent, obviously you don't want to be out for 3 days, but the clubs that embrace, all right, you can go out and have a beer. You're adults. Like, if you get treated like, if adults, you're an adult. If you get treated like a kid, you're going to behave like a kid.
Correct.
So it's the ones that have that connection, all go out together. Like, you see them, you go out in Melbourne, obviously there's 10 clubs there. You go, and there's not one of them, there's fucking 15 of them. You're like, that's a good thing, because they all go out together and then they can all look after each other. If you got 5 blokes who sneak off every week, it's a recipe for disaster, because they're hiding in the corner, giggling at, oh, fucking look at him, the nerd, and stuff like that. But if you've got a group that's confident enough to be like, yeah, I went and had a few beers and tell a story in front of a team meeting, like something stupid that happened, they can get up and have a laugh at everyone. And as long as it's done, sort of without too much trouble, then they're the clubs that I think go a long way.
Felt like you if the line was there, you were probably a little bit either side of it sometimes.
Yeah, of course. Well,
trying to find the line.
Yeah, I was trying to. Sometimes I fucking went missing and had to sort of come back to it. But
that's why you boys end up winning a flag, though.
Yeah,
like we had the balance of the team.
Yeah, we had an unbelievable amount of fun that year, and it was kind of like, yeah, we partied up, but we owe it to Mick and the other blokes who don't, that fucking when it comes to game day, we're going to work just as hard. We're going to work harder than anyone, because we owe it to these boys for what we do on the weekends. And and obviously we wanted to win and we love playing well, but our captain and Mick sort of would not turn a blind eye, but sort of go, okay, if you need to go have a beer, or you don't need to train, or you don't want to do weights today, that's fine. But when it comes to being serious on game day, you boys get followed more than anyone. You fucking want to do it. And if the
standards are higher for you.
Yeah, and if you played 1 or 2 bad ones in a row, right, you'd be off the piss for a couple of weeks, or you'd be doing every weight that was told, or you'd be doing every training session until you got your form back. So I was sort of like, a bit of reward for playing well. Then if you didn't, you get punished, and the carrot and the stick sort of thing.
The draw, so this is the year you win it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've heard lots of sort of probably secondhand from Nick Maxwell speaking to the boys, and I know the attitude that you guys took versus
Saints.
The Saints. Sorry, you guys sort of felt like, all right, we're just going to treat this like normal, and we're going to be back here next week to win. Yeah, maybe there was a difference on Saints side. How do you reflect on it?
Yeah, so we were obviously had the shits at the start, to have Mick lied to us, said it was our 3/4 time, said it's your last effort of the year. Then we realised we had to come back. He lied, it wasn't. But we probably lied to Mick a couple of times, so we'll call it swear Mick. But to have 100,000 people at the MCG be silent, no theme song, final siren, be like, what's going on now? In football, half the boys think we're coming back next week, and half the boys think we're playing extra time. So half of my boys bring it in, let's go. All the motivating stuff you would say to think you're playing extra time, and half the boys just collapse on the floor.
What do you think? Which one were you?
I was shocked. I thought I knew we were coming back. Yeah, because I was flying to LA the morning of the replay. So the initial thoughts that went through my head was like, fuck, I'm not going to be here next week.
I'll get my flights back.
I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to have to tell Mick that I'm unavailable. So initially it was like, what a pain in the ass this is, let's just get it. The win, lose or draw. And we'd played a draw against you in 2007 in the final. Yep. And so we had form in this area. But you're sitting there going, what a pain in the ass. You got all your mates, you got your grand final dinner book, all the shit ready for the week of debauchery. Your Mad Monday costume neatly pressed in your bedroom. Mentally you sort of checked out, righto, this is it. This is all I've got for the year, then I'm done. And then there was a sewage leak in the rooms. So I was going to say shit at the fan, but shit at the carpet. So you literally we couldn't go to our room, so I had to go to the Shane Warne stand room now, sit there for an hour and a half so that people could come and grab our stuff and bring it across. So I just we couldn't even get to our phones, just sitting there complaining, I cannot believe, we're not drinking tonight, can't even get to your mates. So you're sitting there complaining. Then obviously Maxie and that came in, sort of span it like it was half time, righto boys, let's just relax and let's just get the job done next week. And we're obviously much younger side. And Maxie was one of those guys who, best captain I ever played under. He's obviously not the best player, but the best captain I've ever had. And those guys are footy clubs that fitness coach make you do something that's very hard to get angry at, but you sort of follow them like they keep telling you to do stuff, but you can't get angry at them. They've got this stupid way of telling you to do stuff, even though you don't want to do it. So he kept, especially my little clique, like, I was rubbing it on our heads, like, boys can't fire up. And like, Maxie, fuck off for 5 minutes. Just let us have a sook. But he just kept going and sort of brought the mood around a bit more. Then Ed, Ed's probably Collingwood's biggest Nuffy supporter, but just happened to be the president, which I think was great because he showed he cared and he had skin in the game. He cared. So I might love Ed. I still do. But he came in, I know in 1977 that Collingwood didn't, when they had the draw, Collingwood didn't go back to their grand final. So he knew this and we got flogged the next week. So we came in, we're all expecting, we're going back to the footy club, let's go rehab, and then let's start, rehab tomorrow and then get ready for the week. And he came in and said, no, boys, you're all going back to the Crown.
To the dinner.
Yeah, go see your family and friends, loved ones, whatever it is. Go have a feed, then we'll start. They've been here, they've supported you all this. Let's go back and see the fans, give them something. And that was awesome because it was a nice circuit breaker, get to see them. And, if they weren't half pissed, they were fully pissed for this stage. So we had to get out of there before things were starting. They've been drinking all day. So see the family, have a feed. Get up, Maxie and Mick and Ed got up and spoke, and then we were there for a short period of time. Then we got back, so that sort of lifted our spirits, getting to see all our mates, and then got back to the footy club. And by Monday, there was no talk of we had to be at the pub usually 10 a.m. on Monday, so I think we're on the track at 9:15. So there was no talk of shit, I should be in my costume. Cannot believe we're kicking a footy today. It was all like, right, we've got 5 days. Let's just knuckle down, get it done. And it was a pretty normal week apart from the sort of 10, 15,000 we had back at training, but. It was an all weekend. We're obviously much younger, and I think we probably handled it much better. And the results showed on the next week. Now, it was worth the waiting a week. Thankfully, they don't have to do it anymore. And we got a nice paycheck to come back the next week.
And yeah, correct. And you would have had probably a double crack Mad Monday, Sunday.
Yeah, no, Monday. we had a reasonable crack, mate. Yeah, that's why we never won another one.
In the Wednesday. I'd say probably the same for us, mate, to be honest. I just remember being in Hong Kong Saturday. Our footy trip was the weekend after. I remember being in Hong Kong either the Saturday or the Sunday, 10 days post. Yeah. Ringing a mate going, I think I might die here, mate. And I was like, I know, you might think I'm joking, but I genuinely think I might die. I just wanted to call you.
I love you, brother.
I love you, mate. I remember I was in some single bed, some rank Hong Kong hotel, just being fuck, right, this is it.
I'm a premiership player and this is where I am. Have a look at me.
Dying in my own sweat on the bed. Yeah, you mentioned Eddie. We just had Ed on the podcast.
How was it? How many words did you say?
That's why everyone say that. He was brilliant.
Nah, he's a legend.
He gave us so much time. I was so appreciative of. He doesn't have to do that shit.
No,
he's just.
Well, it's like his presidency. What was he worth? What's he worth? Well, now 20, 30, 40, 50, see, whatever he's worth a fortune.
Yeah.
The one job that give you the most stress, you had to deal with peanuts like us, getting phone calls at all times in the morning, dealing with idiots like us, lying to him and with dids and stuff like that. And the one he didn't get paid for and the one he spent the most hours in was the presidency. Most stress, most amount of hours, and he gets paid zip and he's worth a squillion. So he just loved the footy club so much. But Ed was awesome for me. Give me the biggest praise I've ever been given in my life. There's no doubt about it. He was a fearful man when he got going. Holy shit.
What was the best and what was it about? What was it over?
We've had a couple. Well, obviously, I wasn't on the end of it. The Dids one was pretty good when he lied in the car. When he spoke to the whole group. That was a beauty. When someone... one of the boys shit off a balcony in Mooloolaba. We're not allowed back in Mooloolaba.
The whole Collingwood football club's been bad.
Yeah, well, we had to build him a park. Yeah, we had to build him a children's playground. That was a big night. This was when
had a big spray.
Yeah, but this was when mid-season camp trips were basically piss-ups. Now they're obviously a lot different, but the community camp mid-year. Big piss. I went State of Origin. I went Billy started. I don't know why. I remember Billy started to kick that unbelievable try where he kicked it to himself and ran around. It was that night. And the Euros were on, so everyone was back in my room, I think, watching Spain versus Portugal. But yeah, it's long story. So one of the boys shit off the balcony thinking it was one of our balconies underneath, but it was not. So a family woke up to that on the balcony, and then one of the other boys climbed up, one of the sixth story or something, thought it was one of us and jumped on the bed. It was not. So it was like another
same room.
No, different room. They didn't cop the shit and the scare. But so we had a fair. So fair to say, we got a bit of trouble that spray, in that room. A week or so when we got back, holy shit, mate, it was hard not to laugh because he, you know, at the start he was like, righto, boys, just own up. No one's going to get in trouble.
So he's trying to put who's done the shit.
Well, he said defecating. Then he said, for those who don't know what that means, he explained what defecating meant. I'm
just imagining the boys sitting there like, don't fucking laugh.
Oh no, yeah. Well, I was like, and when you know you haven't done it, it's even better. You know, when someone was in trouble at the club, you walk in with the popcorn and go, "This is beautiful." Not me today. Like, can't get in trouble. And I wasn't the defecator, so I was like, "This is beautiful." Not my fucking problem. And sitting up at the back and goes, just tell us what defecating. Anyone who doesn't know what that means, it's fucking shitting. Mate, he went up, mate. I was fucking... Well, it's funny now. I was a little bit scared at the time, but we built him a park. I don't know if anyone knows that story, so...
Good.
Sorry about that, but...
Yeah, we'll leave the name out too, but...
Yeah, but Ed's great. Ed's awesome. Wonderful man. Give me some huge sprays. But, like, the thing about Ed was when he'd give you a spray, like, he didn't hold a grudge, which was awesome, and, like, you'd get a phone call or message, call me fucking ASAP. And all capitals, and always at the end... Eddie, underneath, I'll be like, I know it's you, Ed. Just scroll up. We've had many conversations. I'm well aware of shoot. And then, like, call me fucking now. Like so you'd have to, like, made horrible phone calls. But one, there was a hotel room, Christmas, it was a hotel room thing, never made it public, but he said if it makes it out, it's maybe the end of you. But it got damaged, whatever, and you know, we pulled the hose out of the washing machine, of the dishwasher. I needed a beer bong, and like the bed got me. It was chaos in there. It was like, I reckon it was pre-season, Christmas, last day, Chris. I reckon 30 AFL footballs went through that joint that night through the 2 days we had it, and only me, Ben Johnson, and Brett McCaffrey somehow got fingered out of all. Mate, it was a cable. Mate, everyone. It was about 8 different clubs that walked through there that night, and then me, Caff, and Jono got caught or got dobbed on. It was my credit card, so I was getting fucked either way. So he went off. But the thing about Ed was, well, he just, the way I like him to, the way I like in him, these sprays were, so when he's skull a couple of beer bong or something, he's like, or he's alcohol, he's just like, I've got to just sit in your guts, got to spew it up to get it out, and then just carry on with normal proceedings. That was like Ed with his sprays. He was like, he just needs to go off his tits for 5 minutes to get it out. So you'd sit there in a meeting and like he'd just be tearing strips off, you know, going off his head. And probably, listen, looking back, he deserved them. So, and he cared so much and wanted the best for you in the footy club. So he'd go off his head, call you all kind of very mean and personal things, and then all of a sudden be like, "Whew, all right, now this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to stop this. This is what we're going to do here. This is how we're going to protect you from this." And I'll be like, "Have you not been here the last 5 minutes? He said some very mean and personal things to me, yeah?" Well, I'm not sure we're friends. But like, he just like, righto, this is what we're going to do for you. So he was the most, probably him, Jeff Walsh, probably Neil Barb, Greg Swan. They're probably the most supportive people of me in my time in footy at the footy club. They were awesome for me. And so I've never had a bad word to say about it. And he's a very good man to know.
He's
like, call him in. I'll call him in all parts of the world. Give me 10 minutes. Bang, righto, mate. Got you booked here for lunch. Great. It's hard. Can't get in for 3 months. I got you in here. Say you know me. And like, you get in, you get the full VIP treatment because you've called Ed 15 minutes ago. That's
bloody good. I love that sort of stuff. He sounds very similar to Trevor Nisbet, who I think they've got a pretty good relationship.
Okay, yeah. And he loves the boys. Like, I've had to catch up with him. He's busy, man. Catch up with him a little bit now. And
he just loves the club, mate.
Yeah,
you can just tell he's, you know, like I asked him about, you know, he stepped away from the footy club and how he felt about that. He got emotional about it. You know, he just loves the footy club. I think that's sort of, you know, starting to mend a little bit. But, you know, that's what I love too. He's just a footy fan.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's the Collingwood's probably biggest supporter. He's happened to be the president, which I think is great. And people love to hate on him. But it's obviously a lot of jealousy. Like if there was a draft for AFL presidents, Eddie would be go number one off the board every single year because of the influence he has, the power he has. Collingwood was on its knees in 98, 99. It was just about done. And in 10, 15 years, he turned into the most powerful, whether you're agree or not, they're the most powerful club in the country. The biggest and most powerful, maybe not the wealthiest, obviously West Coast have a lot of money, but you know, they're the most influential footy club in the country. So, and Ed turned around on his own, basically.
Love it. 2012, Robbo called you fat.
Yep.
And then you rubbed your tummy.
Yeah.
So did you used to see the media a bit, or someone told you that? Because
like
if you celebrated a goal by rubbing your tummy.
Yeah. So I was actually, I think he was on the radio at this stage, and I was hung over in the passenger seat. And when he said, I was legit no word of lie, I was elbow deep in a bucket of KFC. Like, that's legit. I was eating KFC as I was like, fuck, hold on, man, maybe he's got a point. But it's it's a pot calling the kettle black there, isn't it? I'm not sure Robbo's the fittest human on the planet, but
gee, that's funny.
But you go to jail for calling someone fat these days. Like, I was on the back page of the paper called the heading was Fat Chance, and I was sitting down. The first day of pre-season, I'd done nothing. I think I made him give me a jab in my foot, which I didn't need, so I didn't have to run for 8 weeks. So I did nothing, and I ran like 2 laps, and I was absolutely rooted, and I was laying down like this, and like. And obviously, and I wasn't in great nick, but which was fine. Fat Chance, the headline was. Imagine saying that now. Oh my goodness, you'd get sacked immediately. But
you won.
So I won the medal. I hadn't had a great start to the year, so it was 2012.
You were all Australian that year.
Yeah, I was all Australian. Yeah, so I must have been going okay, but maybe not to the standards that I expected. But I was called fat, so obviously I wasn't going as great as I should have been. And then, people asked me about that, but as after I kicked my 3rd goal, so I wasn't like. I went in thinking, boys, as soon as if I kick a goal here, I'm doing it. So, do you say it affected me? Or of course you listen to it. You know, football say, no, I don't read the papers. Yeah, but you fucking know. Like, you know. And if if you're going good, you can tell who's played well the night before because the blokes who play well walk in with a paper the next day. And they know whether you win or loss, they walk in reading the paper to read about themselves. But you know when you're going bad. Of course you do, and you can't help it because you get told or you flick pie on social media, you name it. So,
or you're eating KFC in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, but so did it affect me? Well, I'd like to say no, but I obviously rubbed my belly so obviously deep down somewhere in my psyche, I had it thinking about it. So yeah, it did a little bit. I thought I was pretty laid back and relaxed, and it didn't really bother me. But obviously somewhere deep down it must have because. I obviously did the belly rub on after I kicked my 3rd. So that was just a little hat tip to the fat athletes out there that, we can play well as well.
I'm pretty sure you had like 40.
I had 43 and kicked 3.
Yeah, so
we won by a point, so I needed them.
I did the thing on Fox Footy about 2 weeks ago before the Anzac Day clash.
Yeah.
And they said, have you got any special moments of, and Zaharakis' goal comes up and something else comes up. I'm like, give me Swan. Because we get to do a bit of vision. I want Swan kicking his 3rd, rubbing his tummy. That's what I want. And
that's
then
right.
I gave a shout out to all those big boys. Yeah,
that's right. It's just a shout out to the,
fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. To the fat ones, the fat athletes out there. I'm not sure that's the F word you're not allowed to say.
Can't even say their weight. Mate, can't even say their weight.
I know. No, I would have loved to have cut round. None of that are skin folds. Like I would have loved to have cut round with me rig out first day of pre-season. Going, boys, hey. No calipers on me today. Bad luck. I'm not even getting on the scales.
You can't even write it down.
Exactly. So cop that. Exactly.
Hey, so you retired in 2016.
Yeah.
Played 1 game that year.
Yeah.
Was that
40 seconds I played? Yep.
That purely physical?
Yeah.
We just done.
No, my foot.
I know your foot was.
Why did I retire?
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of both. A bit of everything. Like obviously the club wasn't in a great spot. If I'd have known in 2018 we would play in the grand final and we would have turned it around, I probably would have hung on because Bucks offered me a year and it was basically the same money I got as my payout, so I wasn't losing anything. But we literally progressively got worse on the ladder every year, so we were down the bottom. So I was like, and as I said earlier, if if we started 0-6 again, why is he going to play a 32-year-old? Like, what? You just probably go like, mate, we loved you, but we need to give these other young kids a go. So, and with my foot, how bad it was, I was like, it was actually with the way I played, I was like, if I can't get to the spots or do my agility and stuff like that,
I spoke about before.
Yeah, if I couldn't do what my body's expected of me, well, I'll be playing 2s. And they say, die a hero, live long enough to become the villain. Like, I didn't want to be running around and be like, Swanny, we loved you, but you should have given it away last year, or running around in the VFL down at Coburg on a fucking Sunday afternoon and be like, mate, it's not for me. I would have given it away halfway through the year. So it was a combination of everything. I didn't think I could do what I wanted to do with my foot. We were shit. And there was no sort of light at the end of the tunnel. And all my mates had gone. So I still had mates there, but not all my close mates had gone. So I was like, in hindsight, it's probably worked out well. I finished in 2016, 2017, went and I did Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. Then I did the World Cup in Russia, Coachella, like did Europe for 6 months, both 2 years, like partners from the US, so I lived back there a bit. So basically got 2 years of traveling the world, and then COVID hit. So, I was probably worked out probably for the best. I got 2 years to big fights in Vegas and New York. Got to do everything that you can't do while playing AFL, travel the world, have some unbelievable experiences, and then COVID hits, and especially, I know you're selling a couple like we did.
That was brutal.
Yeah, it was horrific. So then we had a baby. Then we started fuck with nothing else, so let's have a kid. So had babies. Now, like we can't do that stuff anymore. So, the positive version is like I got to do some unbelievable stuff. Therefore, I finished in 20 or 19. I couldn't do that. Kids, all those awesome stuff you can't do, and probably till the kids are older, and we'll be 60 because we had them late. So I think I came out at the perfect time.
You're still playing footy?
Me now, yes.
You're still playing footy?
Because I'm a fuckwit. I don't know why I'm an idiot.
How old are you?
41.
Mate,
I know, mate,
it's a good effort.
Oh, mate, it's ridiculous. I know.
You're just telling me you're playing every week for the first...
I'm trying to, yeah, I know. So I did me hammy a month ago. I'm finally starting to break down. But, I guess if you're talking about still a bit... not competitive, but I love footy clubs. And I'd be no good in an office. I spend more time in HR than, if I was... I can't help the way I talk. It's just... It is who I am. You ask for me, you get me. So I love footy club. I love being around, and why my body is still technically able to run around. And footy's sort of like the secondary aspect of me going to the footy club. So you play, but like I'm certainly not 27 again. So you just sort of float around. I'm not playing in great competitions there, so you can sort of it levels up. But it's more about getting around footy clubs, trying to help. COVID ruined a lot of things, so trying to get around, raise some money for some footy clubs, have a good time, and have a couple of beers with the lads after the game, and that's probably the part I enjoy. It's starting to slow down, starting to enjoy less and less, but because it takes me longer to recover, and you're starting to get away from your kids and stuff like that, which is great for a couple of days. Like I like a couple of sleep-ins, stress-free, don't have to deal with breakfast and lunches and stuff like that. But after about 5 or 6 days, you probably start to think, because mine are so young, you look at them and fuck, you've grown up in 4 days. So
you're playing in York over here in WA.
Yep.
At some stage, you're playing for the Southerns FC in Pemberton.
No idea what that is.
That is the 21st of June. Little spot available for any local clubs listening on Wednesday the 18th if you want Swanny to come down and have a chat.
Yep. But I've just heard it all.
Maybe. But I was just telling you. So I'm playing in the Carlton draft later on this year. So I was maybe asking some tips. You said, "Are you doing much?" I'm not particularly.
Yeah. Well, it depends what you want to do. If you just want to go around and get round, you look reasonably fit. Did you do anything?
I've been on a carnivore diet. Just haven't been eating KFC. I have been eating KFC. But what you're saying then, and like I know you're not talking shit either. So they had the draft right, and I ran a fair muck there. I was like, I'm just gonna have beers and have the best time ever. Didn't realise they were live streaming. I found out after the fact. But all the other boys were great.
Who else is in it?
So Tommy Hawkins, Pav, Deledio, and Trav Cloak.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so they were great. But my tactic was I knew that I was the worst player by a long way there.
Yeah.
Right. I think first defender that's ever been used in that. So I just zeroed in on this footy club that had their whole club there. A few clubs had 3 or 4 people here and there. Hill End, which is where I ended up going. They had their whole team, and I just got them, and I had a wristband. I was just feeding them piss, just like, let's go, boys, let's get on the beers. And they had one. I had one of the great nights with them.
That's right.
Now I know that when I'm going down to Gippsland in the middle of the year, I'm gonna have the best time ever. Yeah, best people.
Exactly. That's what it's about. It's like you play in their jumper, and the boys take a photo with you in a jumper, but mate, it's sort of secondary because you get the jumper, but it's more about having a laugh after the game and having telling some stories and drinking piss from them. That's what they probably remember most. I remember that, I kicked 2 goals in a forward pocket and just sort of had 11 touches and give up a couple of handballs. That's the days are done. It's more, mate, we got round, mate, fucking got up and spoke. He was really funny and give back, signed 1,000 photos for all the kids, and that's what people sort of, it matters most now. Yeah, so
I agree.
While people are stupid enough to ask me to do it, I'm stupid enough to do it, is basically the short answer.
All right. Well, I think I'm playing in the ruck, so I don't know. I just want to get around the footy. I don't want to play in the back line and have 3 touches.
No.
Get in the ruck, run around. So I don't injure myself. I saw. Was that with you? No, that was with Fev. Guy Sebastian do his Achilles.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, with Fev. Well, Fev's still cutting around at, what is he, 43, 44, yeah.
I've got a couple of questions to get through and we'll finish off. Social media, not social media. That's enough questions from me. This is from the people. We put it out to our audience. I want to ask you some questions, Swanny. Yep. Can I go at you?
Go for it.
Roddy 10. How often would you think about your fantasy score in that junk time at the end of quarters?
A lot. Yeah. And
the king.
It'd get to the point where we played it. We were pretty big on it. I always advocated for being able to draft yourself, but that wasn't allowed. But like, you'd get to the point like I was playing Maxi. Maxi had Heath. I wouldn't kick the ball at Heath in the last couple of minutes of the game. I'd be like, fuck that, I'm going somewhere else. If the game was in the balance, like, you just don't think about it. If we're up by 60 points and everyone's trying to get the cheap ones round the back, cheap to go from 30 to 35, you look around and go, where's Dids? I got him somewhere. Dids, come down here. Like, you try and give him a handball around the back so he'd get a kick and give it back to me. So
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd notice it. Yeah, for sure.
I love that. All right. Jaiden says, what was Guy McKenna like as an assistant coach?
Blue was good. Yeah. All assistants are good because they're not the bad guys.
That's a good point.
So, and especially when I was like, development, I was developed. So, like, that might have been a bit harder on the young kids, but I was going well. So, I didn't have no interest in doing my video. Like I said about training, I was like, Bluey or whatever, or Banger or Brad Scott, I'd be like, mate, don't bring me in to show me half an hour of me taking a market handball on it. Like, unless you got something like you need to teach me or need to show me, do that. But I don't need to see myself taking a handball, sprinting out in the wing, getting an uncontested mark and turning around and kicking it long. So I had no interest in that. But Blue was great. He was super funny. He was really good. I didn't really have an issue with any of my coaches. They were all pretty good to me. We had a good understanding. You just tell me what I need to know and we'll be on our way.
Yeah, but your part of it's doing it, so that's probably why you had a good relationship.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
You had to hold up your end.
Yeah.
Wardy85, who was the biggest pest when you were celebrating?
Biggest pest that I play with? Celebrating the grand finals.
Sure, celebrating.
Bucks was a big pest because he didn't drink a lot. Like, he was the guy that come in and rip your shirt open and stuff like that.
Was he?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That kind of drink. Like, fuck off, mate. Like, you're like, shah.
British.
Yeah.
British.
Well, there you go. So they need to drink more. You need to drink more often. Like,
you lose your shit up.
Exactly. You get out and they go mad and start wrestling you, putting you out. And he was a strong man. And you're like, fuck off. Like, that hurts. Like, so he was a pest on the drink.
That's so funny.
So him. Who else was a pest? Dale Heath was a pest. Heath's just a full blown idiot.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a super pest on the piss. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that runs in the family maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple of boys friends with race as well. Hayden Newman 5. We've done that one. Adam Cook 98. After your injury, how did you deal with the mental and focus on the positives? Well, sort of covered that. Sounds like you just went travelling, you went to coach.
Yeah, I kind of knew that. I was going to tie pretty early. So I had 6 months, 24 weeks to figure it out. So I had to pretend like I was coming back to get my insurance payout. Yes. So I had, and like I was 32. If I was 24, I would have struggled a bit more. But I was actually really, and like I said earlier, we're going shit. So there was no light at the end of the tunnel. So I was super excited to travel. I was booking flights. So, we're going to go here, we'll do this, we'll do that. So the positives were I got to go see a part of life that footballers don't get to do. So that was the positive. A negative was, you miss out on your paycheck and you're a lemming and you don't miss out on routine, so you have to start, because football is a lot of lemmings. They just do
fucking god. They just do lemming.
They just do the same shit every day and like follow each other, and well, that's what we are. So yeah,
that's our sort of era computer games. Lemmings, exactly. Mate. That's what got me.
And all the young kids are, what's a fucking lemming?
Mate, go look it up, kids. Go play lemmings, and then you're really alive. All right, last one. Jack Bradshaw, 22. What advice would you give to players dealing with intense scrutiny from the media? So the reason I want that answer is Harley Reid over here.
Yeah.
Any of your stories around the Rat Pack and fat West Australian over here, like, mate, they've gone through a phase of just absolute garbage. So advice?
Yeah, the obvious answer is to ignore it, but it's obviously kids these days are just glued to their phones, are glued to their hands, so they're obviously going to see it. But there's nothing secret about it. You got to be strong enough to be able to only focus on the people that are giving you the opinions of the people that care about you, coaches, your family, your mates. Like, they're the only ones that care about you. The rest of them are all doing it for clickbait, and the people who have the scrutiny, if you looked at them online, like people give you shit and people give me shit, if you looked at what they look like online, hiding behind a pseudonym or hiding behind a fake account, if you seen what they look like, you wouldn't yell at them. You feel sorry for them for what big bunch of losers they are. So it's hiding in their mum's basement. Some 150 kilo fat kid just sitting there like just riding, like, you know, eating a fucking 7 Mars bars and smashing 6 litres of Coke a day.
Your preparation.
Yeah, exactly. Just like bagging people like online. Like, if you've seen them in real life, you'd be like, are you fucking talking shit to me? Like, you're kidding, aren't you? Like, so you got to take it, you know, with a grain of salt because, and I know it's hard for people, young kids, because they're growing up so much socially. We're a bit different, but the people that are bagging you have never been in your shoes and have never done what you did, and only would love to trade places with us. Like, would absolutely love to, but they're jealous. That's the main thing. So my advice would be just try and ignore it. Or I love being in the mud. I preferred negative stuff than I did positive. I love being in the mud. I thought it was easier for me to deal with shit than it was to deal with the compliments. I felt very uncomfortable dealing with compliments. The mud I thrived in. So, for Harley, it's just, he knows he's going to be a star. He knows he's going to get paid a fortune. Just enjoy it, because you don't want to get to 27, 28 and my first 4 years I was stressed about what the Western Australian was going to say or what everyone was saying on Twitter. Enjoy being a footballer. I try to enjoy every last moment, the good on and off the field, because looking back, as I'm sure you know, it's the best job you'll ever have. So if you spend half your time, 80% of your time worried about what the people are saying that are negative, you're not going to enjoy what the positive people are saying. And mate, the Pope has his detractors. Like, who's the nicest person on the planet? The most popular person on the planet, they're going to have people online that are calling him a fuckwit and hating him. So you can't win. And if you're trying to please people that hate you, well, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Bloody well said, mate. Great way to finish. Collingwood royalty. Mate, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Too easy, mate. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely brilliant. BackChat, that's us, done and dusted. Thank you to our sponsors, Paywise, ID Athletic, Whippersnapper Whisky, Mamba Digital, TABtouch, Shelter Brewing Co.
Jeez, you're going well.
Bleedable Precinct.
I should have sent an invoice.
On One Services.
Ultimate Promotions.
Yeah. Ronnie Adams, taking guys around the country.
Yeah.
If you want Swanny or the best chatters in footy at your club, get in touch with Ultimate Promotions, because that is where it's at.
We've got a few sponsors. This should be an invoice job, Ronnie. What do you reckon?
Thanks very much, boys.
All right.